Welcome to the Bloom and Well podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Mackenzie, a functional wellness chiropractor specializing in gut, brain, and hormone health. Join me as we explore natural methods for health and wellness, focusing on regulating your nervous system, nurturing your gut-brain axis, exploring the mind-body connection, and getting to the root cause of your chronic illness. Hello there, and welcome to episode 4, How Your Gut Can Contribute to Anxiety and Depression. Today we're discussing how your brain and digestive system are connected, how this connection can influence your overall health, and what you can do about it. So if you've ever experienced sudden stomach upset before an important meeting or extreme nausea when you're making life-changing decisions, you're going to want to stick around for the full episode to learn just how to hack this gut-brain axis for your own good. Your gut is often referred to as the second brain because it has a very close connection to your actual brain through this thing that we call the gut-brain axis. Now, your gut-brain axis is actually a bundle of nerves and also involves chemical reactions that can trigger digestive symptoms like nausea, heartburn, loss of appetite, diarrhea, or even chronic constipation that all can stem from a range of emotions like fear, anger, or even excitement. Oftentimes, we refer to this gut-brain axis as a bi-directional pathway because the information goes from the brain to the gut and from the gut to the brain. So when you sit down to eat a meal, your brain is processing the sight and the smell of your food, and it sends a signal down to your digestive system to prepare your body to eat and digest the meal that is sitting in front of you. So it actually triggers your body to start releasing certain enzymes that are going to break down your food, enzymes in your stomach, enzymes in your mouth, enzymes from the pancreas that are going to help to break down the proteins, the carbs, and the fats. So because this is a bidirectional pathway, your gut can also send information to the brain. So for example, when you have food poisoning or you're eating food that just upsets your stomach for whatever reason, your body's rejecting it, it can overstimulate your digestive system, and then your digestive system sends the information back up through that gut-brain axis towards the brain. And it can lead to a lot of anxiety and stress until the situation in your digestive tract gets resolved. And there are research studies that are starting to show that there is a potential link between IBS, chronic depression, and anxiety, because research is starting to show that people who suffer from IBS are typically at a higher risk for also suffering from chronic depression and anxiety. So understanding that your gut is an extension of your brain and your nervous system really opens up a doorway to your treatment options and supportive therapies. There are plenty of research studies that are showing that balancing the digestive bacteria in your gut can largely influence different mood disorders and even gastrointestinal diagnoses like IBS. Our bodies actually contain healthy bacteria that are a huge part of balancing the ecosystem or microbiome within our digestive tract. And a huge part of this microbiome is actually found in your colon, where the good bacteria help to fight off bad bacteria or pathogens or other infections and foodborne illnesses that may come in through your digestive tract when you're consuming meals. So you want the good bacteria there in your gut to fight off the bad bacteria and to help break down the food that is in your digestive tract so that your body can use it for fuel and for energy. Now, there are several different things that can actually affect the colonies of bacteria in the digestive tract. I feel like the most obvious one is going to be diet and nutrition. So what you eat directly impacts the composition of your gut microbiome. So if you're eating plenty of colorful, fresh fruits and vegetables, you're going to be getting high fiber, you're going to be getting high antioxidants, lots of prebiotics that are going to feed different type of good bacteria that are down in your digestive tract. Now, if your diet is really rich in processed foods, sugars, unhealthy fats, this can actually boost the bad bacteria and kill off the good bacteria, which leads to dysbiosis and eventually leaky gut. Another important factor is going to be exercise. So, regular physical activity has actually been shown to positively influence the gut microbiome diversity and composition. And research has also shown that the more diverse your microbiome, the healthier and more robust it's going to be, because it's going to have different ways to fight off many different pathogens and bacteria and viruses that come in through your digestive tract. And exercise is also fantastic for helping to reduce inflammation in your gut, which, if your gut is inflamed, it's going to be difficult for the good bacteria to survive. Chronic stress is another big one that can significantly disrupt the balance of your gut bacteria and really impair the function of your digestive tract. So your gut-brain axis, this bi-directional pathway between the gut and the brain, actually plays a significant role here when stress is involved. Another common way that your gut microbiome can be disrupted is through antibiotic usage. Now, I'm not saying don't use antibiotics. I'm not saying if your doctor is prescribing them, don't take them. But what I am saying is that antibiotics are designed to kill or prevent the growth of bacteria. And you have good bacteria in your gut that do get affected from these antibiotics. So one thing that you can do is, if you know that you're getting ready to take an antibiotic or you are taking an antibiotic, is to try and supplement with a probiotic, so that when the antibiotic is killing off even your good bacteria in your digestive tract, you're still getting a supplementary form of the good bacteria to kind of refeed and refuel your gut. Corticosteroids are another medication that can negatively impact your gut microbiome. So corticosteroids are an anti-inflammatory medication that is typically used to treat conditions like autoimmune diseases or severe allergies. So when you're using these for a very long time, or even at very high doses, it can kill off the good bacteria in your gut and really limit the gut microbiome diversity, which, as we have mentioned, is a way to promote the growth of the harmful bacteria in the digestive tract. And one final surprising way that your gut microbiome can actually be affected by your lifestyle is whether or not you are breastfed or bottle fed. Research studies are showing that infants who were breastfed tend to have different gut microbiome compositions compared to those who were bottle fed. So breast milk actually contains beneficial components like antibodies, prebiotics, and probiotics that can help to establish a healthy gut microbiome in babies. So why do we care about balancing the gut microbiome and keeping it healthy? Well, it can severely impact your mental health and physical health. When the body is continually subjected to stress, whether it's from processed foods, heavy workloads, family and relationship stressors, or even chemical cleaners, it can cause dysregulation or imbalance in your nervous system, which actually leads to the release of stress hormones that trigger inflammatory responses throughout the body. And as we have mentioned in almost every episode, inflammation can ultimately lead to chronic illness if it goes unchecked. So when you have this chronic inflammation that's running rampant, it can lead to an overgrowth of the bad bacteria that can make it difficult to digest food and absorb nutrients that you need. So gut imbalances like SIBO, candida, and yeast overgrowth all are examples of an overgrowth of the bad guys that are caused by too much stress on your brain and body. There are some studies that are showing now that there is a correlation between gut inflammation and the triggering of autoimmune conditions. Not only that, but 90% of serotonin, which is one of your happy hormones, this is the one that's typically replaced with the SSRIs for depression, is actually produced and found in your digestive tract. So your gut health is directly linked to your brain health and your mental well-being. So when it gets disrupted and bacteria become imbalanced, it can lead to overstimulation of your nervous system, potentially lower serotonin production, and even increase levels of anxiety and depression. So how do you even know if your gut bacteria are imbalanced? Of course, you can always go with a functional practitioner like myself and order functional lab testing to give you results. But there are also a lot of common signs and symptoms that start to show up when your digestive tract becomes overrun with the harmful bacteria. So firstly, if you're having less than one bowel movement a day, I know there are so many people out there who only go to the bathroom once a day or once every other day, and I promise you that's not normal. You really need at least 2 to 3 times a day in order to empty your bowels fully. Another sign is if you are seeing undigested food and stools. Part of this could be because you're not chewing your food thoroughly, but it also could be because your body is not producing enough digestive enzymes to actually break down the food. And what we've seen in studies is that when your nervous system is dysregulated and your gut microbiome is imbalanced, it can actually decrease the amount of digestive enzymes that are produced. You may also have very foul-smelling stools when you do go to the bathroom. Frequent panic attacks are common. Autoimmune condition flare-ups are also quite common, as gut microbiome imbalance is very inflammatory, and that inflammation can spread throughout the rest of the body. Also, if you're having trouble falling asleep, staying asleep, or having difficulty waking up after you got a good night's sleep, all of these could potentially be signs of chronic inflammation and gut microbiome imbalance. If you find yourself feeling stressed or anxious without a reason, if you're just sitting there, you're relaxing, and all of a sudden you get hit with this wave of anxiety, it very well could be part of that gut-brain axis coming into play, and something is going on with your digestion, and it's sending those messages upstream to the brain, and the brain is reacting appropriately. Another sign is if you're feeling cold often, especially cold extremities like your hands and feet. If you are having a fast heart rate after eating. Now, this could be a few different things. A very common reason for fast heart rate after meals is insulin resistance or diabetes. You might have a really quick heart rate after that blood sugar spikes. But if you find your heart rate is spiking even after eating low-carb meals, this could have something to do with the gut-brain axis and your microbiome being imbalanced. Another common sign is if you feel better when you don't eat. A lot of the times when your nervous system is dysregulated or your gut microbiome is imbalanced and that information is getting communicated back and forth between the gut and the brain, it can cause very uncomfortable symptoms like bloating, gas, heartburn, even shortness of breath, and you often feel better and less anxious when you don't eat. As I mentioned earlier, I do recommend scheduling an appointment with a functional wellness provider to schedule some functional lab testing so that you can see what is going on with your digestive system, maybe how it's imbalanced, what types of support you need. Maybe you need digestive enzymes. Maybe you need prebiotics. Maybe your body is really wanting the probiotics. Maybe it's all of the above. It really depends, and it's a case-by-case scenario. Every body is different. Everyone's lifestyles are different. So functional testing can really help to individualize the results, but also the protocols that come out of those results. So if you are interested in a personalized lifestyle plan to support your body and reduce gut inflammation and anxiety and depression, you can schedule an appointment with me through my website, drmackenziebrewer.com, drmckenziebrewer. Now, when it comes to doing things on your own, what can you do? So if you suspect that you have gut dysbiosis or that your microbiome is imbalanced and you feel like this could be impacting your mental health, one of the simplest ways that you can alleviate these symptoms is to start an autoimmune diet for a minimum of 4 to 6 weeks. Now, I don't recommend doing this unless you're seeing a provider because it is a very restrictive diet. But I understand that people want information and they want to learn about their bodies and ways that we work with lifestyle changes to support the body. So for me, I tend to start clients and patients on kind of like a softer version of the AIP diet. Instead of eliminating a long list of inflammatory foods, I tend to have them start by limiting or eliminating corn, wheat, soy, and dairy because they are some of the most primary inflammatory foods that you can eat. Again, I don't recommend cutting these out of your diet for long term unless you've been tested and find out that you're allergic, or maybe you have celiac disease or some kind of chronic illness that prevents you from eating these, because these do have a lot of good nutrients in them as well. So once you've eliminated these foods from your diet, it's important to start to slowly reintroduce them one by one, maybe a week at a time, and see how your body reacts. Maybe your body reacts to butter, but it doesn't react to cheese, or maybe it reacts to Parmesan cheese, but not cheddar cheese. Everyone's microbiome is different, their bodies are different, their DNA is different, and so your body might react differently from someone else's. If you are wanting more help, but you are more of an independent study, I do also have a gut health reset program that is kind of a condensed version of an autoimmune protocol, where I teach you how to slowly cut these foods out, how to slowly reintroduce them, how to track what your body is doing, what your digestive system is doing, and what supplements are beneficial for different types of symptoms. So if you're interested in that, you can go to my website and click on the Gut Health Reset or the courses at the top of the page. I hope you've enjoyed today's episode on how your gut can contribute to anxiety and depression. And remember, your journey to wellness is ongoing, and I'm here to support you every step of the way. Thanks for tuning in to the Bloom and Well podcast. If you found value in today's discussion, don't forget to like and subscribe on your favorite platform. Your support means the world to us. Until next time, happy healing and keep bloomin' well.